CNN apparently has been caught red-handed with actual fake news. Not the fake news that's subject to your description or hyperbolic rendition of what you think might or should be reported, but actual fake, stage, conned, work, imaginary, fictional, theatrical, faked, ersatz, fugazi, synthetic, camouflaged, counterfeit, fake, unreal, bald-faced lie news. It is as clear as the day is long. CNN was apparently caught staging fake news in the aftermath of the ISIS-claimed London attacks, which claimed 7 lives and injured 48. While ISIS supporters, are celebrating the attacks, MSM, mainstream media propagandists, have been hard at work pushing the, quote, religion of peace narrative, trotting out hijabbed women and a child to hold signs expressing Muslim outrage at the terrorist attacks. What happens, says this doesn't appear to have been an organic protest against terrorism. Instead, it appears very much like CNN staged their outrage.
So amazing reporting. What I want to show you now, viewers, is a wonderful scene. These are Muslim mums. There's a little fella here who's brought a little sign. And this is in commemoration, you can see his little sign, to the heroes of London. There are flowers on the street here, ladies with hashtag turn to love, hashtag ISIS equals enemies of Islam, hashtag ISIS will lose, hashtag turn to London. And I think a poignant scene, and a scene we should sit on just for you viewers, to understand exactly how people feel here on the streets of London, so close to what were such brutal attacks last night.
Australian airport security, heavily armed, quickly carrying the hogtied passenger off the jetliner. A dramatic end to a short flight. Just after takeoff from Melbourne, the Malaysian Airlines crew tells the captain a passenger is trying to breach the cockpit door, as the pilot recounted to controllers.
Claiming to have an explosive device, trying to enter the cockpit, has been overpowered by passengers, so we tried to land and have the device checked out.
That device, apparently some kind of power pack. A half hour after taking off, the jet is back in Melbourne, with security officers barking commands to passengers.
Everyone in the seats. Put your heads down.
Police suggest the suspect has a history of mental illness.
I'm Nicole Lovell, and I've been nominated for the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Lord, get set, go!
Oh. It's just been a nightmare.
The nightmare began for Nicole Lovell's mother, Tammy Weeks, last January 27th, when she discovered her 13-year-old had vanished.
Every time I seen her, she would be texting or Facebooking, and she was constantly on her phone.
Investigators believe Nicole had left her Blacksburg, Virginia home to meet someone she met online. 3 days later, her body was found in the North Carolina woods. Sheriff Graham Atkinson.
She was stabbed, her throat was cut.
Cops discovered Nicole had written her social media logins on her wall. That information led them to Virginia Tech freshmen David Eisenhower and Natalie Keepers.
She said he was a sociopath and she was a sociopath in training.
David Eisenhower is charged with murder and abduction. Keepers as an accessory.
I hope everybody learns from this, because it can happen to you.
What did you expect when you got here?
Palm trees and sunny days.
18-year-old Yums Garner says he came to Los Angeles to escape the drugs and gangs in his hometown. But once here, he wound up on the streets.
I try to sleep on rooftops. That's the safest place.
How hard has it been for you, though, to find a job?
Pretty hard to find a job. Finding a place to live, that's even harder.
Garner is among a growing population of young people between the ages of 13 and 24 who are homeless and alone without the guidance of a parent or guardian. Many of them ran away from abusive families.
It's been pretty rough out here.
Drake Hudson says he left home after getting into several arguments with his parents.
What's your day like?
It's been mainly just focused on getting food, and that's pretty much it. It's just food.
Some studies estimate there are between 1.6 and 2.8 million unaccompanied homeless youth across the country, but no one knows for sure. So this year, the Department of Housing and Urban Development is focused on getting a more accurate count.
How long have you been homeless this time?
I've been homeless about 2 months.
Volunteer counters, some homeless themselves, recently canvassed LA and other cities in search of homeless youth, but finding them can be difficult, says USC Associate Professor Eric Rice.
Oftentimes what homeless youth will do is they will be sleeping on a friend's couch for a couple of nights. They'll then be sleeping on an underpass for a night, and they don't want to be associated with homelessness. They don't want it to be their identity. And so they do everything that they can to appear to be just a normal 20-year-old, because they are a normal 20-year-old.
ISIS says killing people, especially during Ramadan, is honored in the eyes of Allah. In fact, those who commit it during Ramadan get an extra reward. What's going on here?
Well, thank you so much for having me first, and our prayers go to the family of the victims in England and everywhere in the world. Yes, Ramadan is a month of jihad. Ramadan is not sacred in the way Westerners will understand sacred. Sacred because it's for Allah and for the cause of Allah. So everything that's happening in Ramadan, it's for the sake of Allah. Jihad started even in the early Muslim history, started in Ramadan. There is one huge battle that changed the history of Islam called the Battle of Badr. The Battle of Badr happened in the 17th of Ramadan. And that battle was actually a raid on a caravan for the tribe of Muhammad. Muhammad raided his own tribe, the caravan of his own tribe, to steal their goods and to sell the prisoners. He didn't succeed to do that, but a fight started between his tribe and his men, and it ended by him winning that battle. Every Ramadan, Muslims celebrate that battle every 17th of Ramadan. There is another battle, it's called the Al-Fath, the opening, when they opened Mecca. Muhammad went to Medina, and on the 8th year of Hijrah, immigration to Medina, he came back to his own tribe. He raided his own tribe with 10,000 men. That was on the 20th or the 21st of Ramadan. It depends on which story we'll take, but it happened in Ramadan. So all these things happen in Ramadan. Even the victory in Iberia, in what's called Spain today, it happened during Ramadan. So they invaded Spain, and they had a huge victory there in a battle called Guadalete, and they won. And it was during Ramadan. So Ramadan is a month of jihad.
If you are joining us on Facebook, you are listening to Brother Rashid, a former Muslim who was very, very devout, read the Quran from back to front, and understands the faith and the roots of the faith. You have taken to Twitter, Brother Rashid, since the attack last night, and in fact, you have been tweeting on all these various attacks carried out by Islamic terrorists around the world. You say that Muhammad made a deal with his followers that if they kill, they will get paradise. Can you quickly tell us more about that?
Well, that's actually a verse in the Quran. It's in chapter 9, verse 111. It says the following. I'm reading from an English translation. Indeed, Allah has purchased from the believers their lives and their properties. In exchange for that, they will have paradise. And they fight in the cause of Allah, so they kill and are killed. So if you die as a martyr in Islam, you're dying for the cause of Allah, and God and Allah will give you paradise in the afterlife.
Let me just stay with you for a second, Brother Rashid. You said to me the other day that Islam was born deformed, and those who try to call for a reformation, like a reformation that took place in Christianity, is dreaming, that a reformation in Islam can never take place. You agree with that, right?
Yes, I agree 100%. Reformation was when Martin Luther said sola scriptura, is going back to the scripture, going back to the roots. If you take Islam to the roots, to the life of Muhammad and to the scriptures, to the Quran, then we are in big trouble. Because the life of Muhammad, he did 83 raids in almost 8 years. And he did so many battles. He was not a peaceful man. And the first Muslim community, they lived out of those raids. So if we go back to the roots, we are in big trouble.